Today I wanted to talk about some of my favourite tools and use them. So, where should I start? My favourite pen is probably the Lamy Safari. I have a very broad nib on it. I sometimes think about getting something even broader. Yeah, I like kind of the marks it makes. I like when you see splashes on my paintings. All it is if I want small ones, hit against the hand. If I want bigger ones, don't. It does cause your ink to run out quickly. I have a lot of different markers. I do like Posca markers, but they can work out quite expensive. And so I actually like these Artistro ones. I've got these Pintasia ones, but I don't think they work as well. They tend to dry up. So I would tend to use an Artistro marker. And yeah, they're quite scratchy, but the paint's relatively easily available. And then I would lay that up with so I would define that line a bit more with my ink from my Lamy Safari. The ink is sketch ink. I have this both in black and I have it in blue because I do have a white Lamy Safari pen, which is full of the blue ink. So as well as having these ones, I've also got these have all got medium. I've got a Lamy Safari that has blue ink in it. That's the actual Lamy cartridges, and I have one with black in as well. So the sketch ink isn't water soluble, so I can drop watercolours over it. In terms of watercolour, I mainly use Winsor and Newton Cotman. I have a couple of different cases. I've got Cotman. This one's got Daniel Smith watercolours in, which I only have a couple of colours. I found them really expensive, and they can't really do anything. I can't seem to get the colours right that I would as I mix them with my Cotman watercolours. This one's a mixture. It's a mixture of Sennelier and Cotman, and I refill all my own tubes. In terms of paintbrushes, in terms of water canister, I have one water canister. which is a metal one. It's a travel one. It has been to Switzerland and Germany with me. I did get stopped at customs because this had the lid on. I have no idea where the lid is anymore, or the handle. But when I was at customs, I got stopped because this was a sealed container and they wanted to see what's inside. That was from Manchester. I was on a school trip, taking a bunch of students to the Vitra Design Museum, which is a good museum, but I wouldn't recommend doing it with students. In terms of colours, I really favour blues. So I've got cerulean. The main part of my palette has cerulean. That was ultramarine. What was that one? I can't remember. We have a couple of browns. That is permanent. That was a permanent red. This one's primary red. A couple of yellows. And 2 greens. And that's kind of the main part of my palette. This bigger palette pretty much has the same colours on it. It's just got a few extra. It's got an extra yellow, some extra reds. Yeah. Some more blues and a purple. The only real difference is, like I say, I tend to use this as my main colour palette. And when I've got the Scenario one out, I'll use a few more mixes. Yeah, quite like a rather smallish palette really, and tend to go for the same colours over and over again because I want things to be quite bright and bold. In terms of brushes, I have a lot of different brushes. For acrylic, when I do acrylic paintings I tend to use just a 1/2 inch system free flat brush. For watercolour my preference is beat up sable brushes, really quite large ones. I do have smaller sizes, but I don't really use them. Yeah, even when when I want finer lines, I'll tend to use a line that comes to more of a point. Kind of the Chinese style. I don't tend to use those too often. This is another favourite. This is what does this? Arches Aquavel. It came with a set of paper and a set of these brushes, and they can just tend to hold a lot more pigment than the but it's not great for bigger pictures. Same as using the pen, being able to flick colour on. I like to do the same with my brush. So they hold quite a lot of water, but you can make some nice splashy movements. Have a little what's this? Winsor and Newton. One stroke. It's one of those odd things where I'll use Winsor and Newton for my watercolours, but if I do acrylics, I prefer system free, and their professional range as well of the Rally, which are these ones, Acrylic. I think it's more that I've become used to those, the pigments on those, and how they work, and how they react with water. Every artist has their favourites, but I think these are mine. Yeah. So, thanks for watching. That's a little bit about my materials. I have a lot of different watercolour papers, and I don't really use any of them. I do like them. I really like kind of rough papers. I actually have drawers full of watercolour paper, a lot unopened. Got a drawer here. The botanical, I prefer something rough. The botanical watercolour paper is just too smooth for me. I like the kind of texture and the way that the paint sits in them. But yeah, we have whole drawers full of paper, Reno, cartridge paper, to various different ones I've bought from Jackson's over the years, and just like playing. I mean, a lot of the time I will just use cartridge paper because at least then I know it's got high recycled content, and you can just play around with them without worrying about the cost. They cost pence a sheet rather than costing a lot. So yeah, thanks for watching.